One of my favourite quotes is comparison is the thief of joy. And in today's world, I think it's so relevant. And, especially with an all time high use of social media, that's the main thing, really. And when I think about, what we see on our feed, our pages, the only things we're seeing is sort of highlights of people's lives. We're not seeing the struggles. There might be some people out there who will post struggles of life, and I know there's a lot of accounts out there, and they're the more real and authentic accounts we ought to be following, really. But obviously, that's not how the way works, not how social media works. And all we see is these Lamborghinis at the age of 21, and I've bought my third house at the age of 30, and it's you can't compare yourself to things you see online because us as humans, we were never meant to see these things realistically. It could be anything from owning a home or owning a fancy car or going around the world traveling or these influencers. When you look at a guy who's got ultimate six packs, slim but muscular, but and likewise with a girl when you've got these such high like sort of beauty standards now. You can't compare yourself because at the end of the day, you are you, and you can't be in sort of like a constant competition with not only everyone but yourself at the same time because it's not healthy. It's not normal in a way. You can strive to be not necessarily this certain person or get to this certain goal of this person, but you should have your own goals, and if all of a sudden you open up Instagram or TikTok or whatever and you see someone who's just, you know, posted about their new house at the age of 25. I'm 27. I've not had that pleasure of owning a home. I'm obviously getting close to it, but for myself, I wanted to do it more comfortably. So I obviously was happy to stay at home with my parents for them few extra years. But, you know, if I were to see that, instantly our gut reaction is, sadness and sort of depression and not jealousy, but it can come across like a bit bitter, and and you're just thinking, well, what am I doing wrong then? I've got my plan, I'm setting out my goals. Why? And that's the thing about it. Everyone's life's different, and you don't know anyone's situation, right? Because you could see, for example, an influencer online. Like, let's say there's this guy who's he's posted out in, I don't know, Dubai or America or wherever, right, in Barbados, and they're flexing that, oh, look at my life is golden, but yeah, that guy might have cheated people out of selling courses to get to get to and you can't fall for that sort of, it's a trick, really. Comparison is a trick. The more I think about it, the more I speak about it, and it's sort of just gone off in my head, really, like a light bulb. When you see a girl who's like so sort of like, oh, people label it as like, oh, she's such a worldie, she's absolutely unbelievable, look at her beauty, yet she's had X amount of work done to her. She's probably got the best sort of surgeons and dietitians and personal trainers. You can't compare. The only thing you can do is to block that sort of things out, because it is 9 times out of 10 negative stuff, right? It alters your progress. It sort of stops you from progressing forward, and you find yourself in some sort of blockade and barrier where you're like, well, I can't get out of this mess now. So we weren't never meant to see all of these things. And of course, years ago you can say when a poor person could see a rich person's house, but that's the same now. But it's more frequent now than it was, I'd say even 10 years ago, 20 years ago. That the change in sort of you know, society really is so much. It's changed so much that, it's like you're even more in part of the rat race now than you were before. Realistically, like, let's really break it down and think about it, because you're striving for something which, you know, you might get, or you might be able to replicate on someone else, but it's you're caught up in this sort of, like, this wheel of, I have to keep going, I have to get to this, and when you think about it, it's altered your brain chemistry, and you're not actually enjoying life. You're not. Well, from the period I had, when I looked at people online in the gym and I said, oh, I need to look like that, and I was going absolutely ham, egg, and chips in the gym and really going for it, and when I look back now, I was like, well, why did I do that? Because, yeah, I made progress in the gym, but I must have known that to get to that point, these people in the gym might have been taking steroids and not telling me. So you're chasing sort of, and it's okay to chase perfection, right? That's absolutely fine. But it's when you compare your life to other people, when you don't really know the circumstances or what the other person's done to get there. They might have taken shortcuts to get there, like cheated. There might, obviously, there's people out there who have worked really, really hard, and they've got to that point, and that's what we should be sort of diving into. We should be following that sort of journey, not the whole, like, looking at someone who said, oh, I've got a Lamborghini at 18 years old, and then you think, well, I only drive a Ford Focus. It's you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be comparing. That person might have come from a really, really rich family, and they're bragging about it online, and you don't know that, and they won't tell you that because they want to come across as like a certain image. And at the end of the day, we have to sort of try and look through this sort of trick and cut it in half. Cut it in half, stick it in the bin. We need to beat this trick, guys, because I've fallen for it a lot, and especially now when I see people who, are married, are getting married, let's say, at my age, and I think, well, yeah, I obviously want to get married, but it's just one of those things where I can't just then go, oh, they've got married at that age, I need to quickly go out and get married to catch up with them. No, that's not how life works. You need to do it at your own pace. You need to find your path into getting these things. It's not even getting them, like receiving them. Obviously you have to put yourself out there 100%, but you shouldn't be chasing the whole way, because as you're putting yourself out there, you start to receive things, to you, whatever you want, right? If you're putting yourself out there and striving to be the best version of yourself, these things will come to you. I can tell you that wholeheartedly, 100%. So, if ever you get them sort of moments where you're like, oh no, why ain't that me? Remember, comparison is the thief of joy. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to drop a like and a comment, and to be kept up to date with future videos, make sure you subscribe. Thank you for watching. Cheerio.